Hi guys, in this lecture I am going to teach you the CSS3 colors and prefixes. So first of all, what is the prefixes and the CSS3 colors? If many CSS3 properties are not work properly in the browsers, in many browsers like Opera, Chrome and other browsers, Safari and the Internet Explorer, so the CSS have introduced some prefixes. If we write the prefixes before the CSS properties, so these properties work properly. Here, let's suppose we are applying some styles on this div. I have not created any div, but it is just for example. And here we write example, let's say color, and here is the color is #FFF, and then if this color is not properly rendered in the browser, then we have to write the prefixes before this property. Here for the Chrome and the Safari we have to write WebKit, hyphen WebKit and hyphen. So this is for the Chrome and Safari, and for the Mozilla Firefox we have to write Moz, and for the Opera whatever it is, we have to write O, so it's O. And for the Internet Explorer we have to write MS for the Internet Explorer. So these are the prefixes if any property doesn't work in browser, so you can try these prefixes. And the next thing is CSS3 colors. The CSS3 has newly introduced three color schemes: RGBA, HSL and HSLA. You have already done the RGB, but the new scheme has the RGBA. So here I'm going to create a div, and here is the div, and here is the width, here is the height is also 400 pixel, and here I'm going to create a border is 1 pixel, solid and black. So now let's execute it. So here is the div, and now I am going to give it the background color by using the RGBA scheme. Here is the background, and first of all write RGBA, and A stands for alpha and R for red, green, blue, and A is just alpha. And close this CCleaner. And now first of all we are able to give the three colors, three values, 0 to 255. Here I'm gonna write 255, 0 and 0, red, green, blue, and then we are able to give the value of alpha. So what is the alpha? Have you remembered the word opacity? The opacity we learn in the CSS, the opacity is used to make the colors and the pictures transparent. So here we are also able to give the opacity from 0.1 to 1.0. Here I'm going to give 0.5. So now let's execute it. So here you see that this color is transparent, and if we write 1.0 value to opacity, so it's completely red. So this is the RGBA scheme, and now I'm going to define HSL scheme. So what is the HSL stands for? H for hue, and the S for saturation, and L for lightness. And here we have to write the brackets. First of all, hue is the angle of the color. Here I'm gonna write 0, and then we have to write the saturation. Saturation is you want to put the full color, half color, how many percentage of the color. Here I'm gonna write 100%, and then you are able to write the lightness. Here I'm gonna put the lightness 30%, and here is the semicolon, and let's execute it. So here is the color, and the third type of the color is HSLA. So A, I hope you understand what is A. A is the alpha, the opacity. So here we are also able to put the opacity. Here if I put 0.2, so let's execute it. So here you can see that this is opacity. It changed the colors, transparent the colors. So this is the color schemes and prefixes. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion on Udemy. I will help you as much as I can. And in my next lecture I am going to teach you how to make the rounded corners of the divs, and see you in the next lecture. Hi guys, in this lecture I am going to teach you how to give the rounded corners to the div, how to set the image at the place of the border. So here I have already created a div and give it a height and the width and the border. So now here I'm going to make its corner rounded. Here you can see that this is a div, its corner or edgy, it's not rounder. So now I'm going to make this corner rounded. First of all, here write the border, then here is the top, and then left, and then hyphen, and then radius. So now first of all I'm going to make the rounded corner of the top left side. Here I'm going to make this corner rounded and give its value 10 pixel. So now it's become rounded. Here I'm going to check it. Radius spelling is wrong. So here you see that the border corner is become rounded. So now I'm going to increase its value, and now check it. Here 20 pixel, and now check it. Here this corner is become rounded, and you can also give these values to all the four corners. Here I'm going to make it right. Top right corner, it also become 20 pixel, and the bottom left and bottom right corner, here I'm going to make it bottom, and here it's become rounded, and here is also the bottom. Here is the bottom right corner, and now it's also become rounded. And you can also give it the background color, then you can see this clearly. Here I'm going to give it the background color. Here is the background color is red. So now let's check it how it look like. So it is more attractive, and you can also give it the background image. Here I'm going to give it the background image URL, and then here 1.jpg, and now let's see it. So here is the image, and it also have the rounded corners. And now here you can see that we have to put a lot of properties to make all the four corners rounded, but we have also another thing, that is shorthand property. You can put all of these values in the single property whose name is border radius, and first value is for the top left corner, second is for the top right. Here I'm going to give these values 10 pixel for the top left, then 10 pixel for the top right corner, and then the 10 pixel for the bottom right corner, and then the 10 pixel for the bottom left corner. So all these four values for all these four corners. And if we give only three values, then the first value is for the top left corner, and the second value is for the top right and the bottom right corner, and the third value is for the bottom left corner. Here let's see that. And if we give only two values, so first value is for the top left and bottom right corner, and the second value is for the top right and bottom left corner. So let's execute it. So here, and if we give only one value, so it also work, and this value is given for all over the four corners. Here you can see that. And the next thing is, I have copied some values from the internet, so you can also give it the elliptical shape by giving these fixed values. Here is the 50 pixel, 15 pixel by 50 pixel, so it's become elliptical. Here you can see that. And if we convert these values, here I'm going to make it 50, and here is, so now let's look at it. So here it's elliptical from this side, and you can also give it 50%, and let's watch it. So here it's become a hole, it's become like a window. So this is the way we can give the rounded corners and make the picture around it. So now I'm going to teach you how to give an image at the place of the border. So now I'm going to remove this, and here is a div, and here is the div, and now I am going to give it the transparent border. First of all, it have the transparent border. Here its style is become transparent. So now the border is not shown on the screen, and now we can give it the border image. Border image, and here is the source. In the source we are able to specify the URL of the image. Here is the URL is 1.jpg, and now let's look at it. So now here this border is so small, so now I'm gonna give it some other properties so it is visible. Now we have to give it the border slice property. Here is the border slice property, border image slice. So what is the function of the border image slice? The border image slice divide the image in 9 sections, 4 for the corner, 4 for the edges, and 1 for the middle section. And now I'm gonna give it value 30. So now here you can see that the image is given to at the place of the border. Here is the image. Here you can see that this is the sky, and here are the mountains. Here you can see the image. So now the next thing is border image width. Here is the border image width. We can specify the border image width. Here is, I'm gonna give it 10 pixel, so the image width is increased at the border. Here the width is increased so you can see the image clearly. Here is the 20 pixel. Here is the image. And the next thing is the border repeat, border image repeat, and we can give it different values. First is rounded. So when we give the rounded values, rounded value to the repeat, the image is tilde or half to fill the border area. Here you can see that the image have the opposite reflection at this side, so it can be, the image can be fit in this border image area. And the next property is the stretch. So when we give the stretch to it, So the stretch property extend the image to fill all the area. When we give the rounded property, so it tilt the image to cover the area, but stretch will extend the image, expand the image to fill the area. And we can also give it repeat and execute it. So here the image is repeating. And the next thing is we can also give all these values in the shorthand property border image. Here is the border image, and here we can write the URL of the image. Here is the URL 1.jpg. Here I am going to insert another picture, and then we have to write the 30 for the slice and then repeat the image. So now let's look at it. So here the image is changed. So this is the way we can use the shorthand property for the border image. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion on Udemy. I will help you as much as I can. Thank you for watching this video. Hi guys, in this lecture I'm gonna teach you how to give the more than one background to a HTML element. Here I'm gonna give two different images in the background of this div, and then I will teach you special properties of the CSS3 background, that is the background origin and background clip. So let's start. First of all, here I have already created a div, and here is its width and height and the border, and now I'm gonna give the background image here. Here is the background image. And first of all, we have to write the URL of the first image. Here is the URL, and here in between this I'm going to write the name and the extension of the image, and then here is the comma, and then here is the second URL and its name and the extension of the image. Here is 3.jpg, and now let's check it. Here there is only one image because we have not provided the other properties, position and the no repeat. So now I'm gonna apply here the background position, and first of all I'm gonna provide the position to the first image. Both images are present here for 3.jpg, 4.jpg, and first of all we have to give the position of the first image. Here I'm gonna give the right bottom to the first image, and then the position comma, and then the position of the second image is left top. And you can also give the position in the pixels from the right side, from the x-axis 100 pixel, from the y-axis 100 pixel. You can give the position in the pixels. And now here I'm going to apply the background repeat, and here is I'm gonna no repeat for both of these images, no repeat. And now let's check it. It's going to be shown. So why it is not applied, the second image is not shown? Because we have not give the background size. So now I'm going to give the background size to both of these images. Here is the background size. Here I'm going to edit it to make it size, and first of all I'm going to give the size of the first image 100 pixel for the width and 200 pixel height, and here is 300 pixel. This is the size of the second image. 300 pixel is the width of the second image, and 100 pixel is the height of the second image. And now here it is. Here is the first image and here is the second image. Now this process is too long. We have also the shorthand property. We can put the more than one images in the background by using the shorthand property. But here I want to tell you something. You are free to put the background images. You have not any limit to put the background images. And now I'm gonna put this image by using the shorthand property. Here I'm gonna make it in the comment. Here is the comment. So now it's not going to be shown on the screen. Here it is, And now let's use the background shorthand property. First of all, give the URL of the first image here. I'm gonna give it 4.jpg, and then we have to give the background position here of the first image here. I'm gonna copy this and then paste it here, and then I'm gonna give the size of the first image. Here is the size of the first image. Copy it. Here is copy it, and then here we have to write / and then the size of the image, and then we have to give the repeat property. Here I'm going to write no repeat, and then the first image is ready. Here I'm going to show you this is the first image. And now what we need to do, we have to write comma and then all the properties of the second image. Here I'm going to copy the URL of the second image. Here is the URL of the second image, and here is the position of the second image by adding a space, and then we have to write the repetition, the size of the second image. Here it is by writing the / and then we have to give the no repeat property or the repetition if we want to repeat, and here it is. And now it is okay. Here you see that both are inserted by using the background property. And now guys, I'm gonna tell you about the new CSS3 background properties, that are the background region and background clip property. By using these properties, you can set the background position from where it is started from the border and it is started from the padding area. It is hard to explain. I will tell you what is it. Here I'm gonna remove all of these things. Here it is. Remove it and remove this, and here is the shorthand property. And now here I'm going to apply no repeat, and here is the 3.jpg, and now here I'm going to apply a border. Here is dashed, and now let's reload it, and here you see that the image is applied. So now let's check it. Here it is. And now here I'm gonna apply the background origin property. First of all, background origin property. Here it is the origin. And now here I want to tell you something, that now the background origin property have the default value, that is the padding box. Here what is the padding box effect? Here you see that the background is started after the border. Here is the background, it is started after the border. So now after the border the padding is started, so that's why it have the default value padding box, and the background is started from where the padding is start. Here I'm gonna add the padding, and then you can see it clearly. Here is the padding of 30 pixel, and now here I'm gonna apply the color on the text is white, and a space inside is created. And here you see that this is the padding and the background is started where the padding is started, but this is the padding box property. Here it is, you can see that. But if we apply the border box, so now the background is going to be start where the border is started. Here you see that this is the border line, and now the background is started from there. And if we apply the content box, so now the background is start where the text is gonna be start. Here you see that this is the background origin, and it will be apply on the background image. But if we give a background color, so we have to use the background clip property. Here is the background color is red, and here it is. and now it have the default value border box because the background is started from the border. And here we have to write clip property background clip, so now it's gonna be start from the content box, and if we give it padding box then it will be start after the border where the padding is start. Here it is. And if we give it border box then it is the default value. You already know what its effect. Here it is. And this is all the CSS3 background properties. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion. I will help you as much as I can. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next video. Hi guys, in this lecture you are gonna learn the box sizing. So first of all, what is the box sizing? The box sizing is just related to the width and height, so it is hard to explain, so that's why here I'm gonna show you it. And here I have already created a div and its border, width and height. Here is the div, and now here I'm gonna give the box sizing property. Here is the box. First of all, you have to write box, and then here is minus sizing. Here is, and now the default value of the box sizing is content box. Here is the content box, and now here is the box sizing property. So now I'm gonna tell you about its functionality. When we give the content box, so the width of this div, or in other words the width of the HTML element, also include the width of the content. You cannot understand this point. Here I'm going to show you. Here I'm going to copy this paragraph and then paste it here. So now here is the logic. When we include the content inside the div, so the div width and height must change. It should change, and we are going to check it. And here you see that its width and height is not changed. Why the width and height of this div is not changed? Because here I'm going to tell you about this thing. It's the logic. When you put something in another thing, so its shape is changed, but here it's not changed. Why? Here when we give the content box property, content box value to the box sizing, so what happened? Here the width and height of the div also include the width and height of the content. Or in other words, you can say that there is no width and height of this content, so that's why the width and height of the div is not changed. Or so why its width and height is not existing? Because its width and height is already included in the width and height of the div. Or you can say that this 300 pixel is the width of the div, and it is also the width of the content. So that's why when we put the content inside the div, so its width is not changing, because this 300 pixel already have the width of the content. And now I hope you understand content box functionality. When we apply this content box value, so the width have the value of the content, but it doesn't have the padding and the border in the width. So now when we give the padding to this div, so its width and height is going to be changed, because it is not included inside this width, inside this 300 pixel. So now its width is 320 pixel. The div width is now 320 pixel. That is not changed by putting this content. And if we change the width of the border, so the width of the div is already going to be changed. Here you see that. So now here I'm going to wrap it up all. When we give the content box, so the width and height of the HTML element also include the width and height of the content. So that's why when we put the content, so the width of the HTML element is not going to be changed. And the second thing is the when we give the content box, so the width and height of the HTML element does not include the padding and the border. So that's why when we give the padding and the border to any HTML element, so the width and height of that element is changed. And here I want to show you the second value is, here is, I'm going to change it, border box. When we give the border box, so it also includes the width and height of the content, so that's why the width and height of the content is not included. And here I want to tell you something about the padding. Here I'm gonna remove this text, and now here I'm gonna give the padding. Here I am gonna give it padding 100 pixel. So now its width must need to change, and here you see that its width is not changed. Here you see that its width is same. Here I'm gonna remove it, then you can see its effect clearly. Here you see that when we give the padding, so its width is not changing. Why? Because when we give the border box property, so the HTML element width is include the content width, it also includes the padding in this width and the border in this width. You can say that this 300 pixel include the padding, border and the content width of the element in it. And here you see that the width of this div is not changing. We have give the padding and the border. So this is the border box. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion. I will help you as much as I can. Hi guys, in this lecture you will be learning the CSS3 gradient property. So what is the CSS3 gradient property? In the gradient property you can able to give the colors for more than one. In the gradient property you are able to give the colors to any HTML element, and you can smoothly change these colors like this. So it is hard to explain what is the gradient. So here you can see that here it is a blue color, here it is just like a green, and here it is parrot. So this is called the gradient, and now I'm going to create it. So here I have already created a div, height, width and border, and here I'm going to change it to the solid and give it a border of 2 pixel. And now here we have to give the gradient property in the background property. Here we have to write the background, and then here we are able to write linear gradient. Here is the linear gradient, and then parentheses, and in between this we have, first of all we need to write the direction of the gradient. So here you can see that in this picture the direction of the gradient is diagonal from this left top to the bottom right, or might be it is from the right bottom to the left top. So this is called the direction. Here I'm gonna give to bottom. So now the gradient is going towards bottom, then we have to write comma, and then you have to write the color names. Here I'm gonna give 2 colors, but you are able to give colors as many as you want by separating the comma. And now let's check it. So here you can see that the gradient is starting from the top and going towards the bottom. So last color is blue and the first color is red. And you can also write towards top, so it's opposite. And you can also write to left, to right. Here it is to left, and here it is to right. So this is all the thing. And the next thing that I want to teach you, here the diagonal gradient is created. So now I'm going to create a diagonal gradient that start from a corner and going towards another corner. So let's start here. What we need to do, we have to give a corner position. Here I am going to give it to left top. So now the gradient is start from the right bottom and going towards the left top. And now here I'm going to give the color is already given here. Increase the color. Here I'm going to give it yellow, and let's increase it. So here you can see that the first color is red and it is going towards the left top. So the first color is red, second is blue, and the third is yellow. But here you can see that the blue color is more and the yellow color and the red color is less. And you can also give the percentages of the color. Here I am going to give the 65% of the red and 10% of the blue. So now here is 20% or the 40%, let's say. So now what we need to do after the color, we have to write the percentage, and now let's check it. So here you can see that the red color is 65%, yellow color is 30%, and blue color is 10%. So I'm going to increase it, it's 20%, and here I'm going to make it 50%, and now it is increased gradually because we have also give the other colors, so that's why it is not showing on the screen. So now this is the way we can give the percentages to the color, and here you can also write the direction towards bottom, top, and other. And another thing that I want to tell you is the angle. You can also give the color, the angle of the color. Here if we write the 0 degree, here I'm going to write 0 DEG, it's called 0 degree, and let's execute it. So the color start from the here bottom, and so the color start from the bottom, that is the red color. Here I'm going to remove the third color and remove the percentages. Then you can see the effect of the angle clearly. So here let's execute it. So here you can see that the first color is red, second color is blue if you give the 0 degree, but if you give the 90 degree, so the direction of the color is completely changed. Here you can see that now red color is on the left and blue color is on the right. And if you give 180 degree, so now red color is on the top. Here you can see that, and in this way you can also give the degrees in the minus. Here is, and you can also give the 360 degree. And now I want to tell you about another thing. You can also give the transparency to the color in the ingredient by using the RGBA colors. So now here I'm going to remove it, and here I'm going to write towards right, and then here is the comma, and then RGBA colors, and here is the 255 0, and here is 0.3, and the second color is also red but transparency is increased. Here is 1.0, and now you can understand it clearly. So here in this way you can give the transparency, and you can also repeat the gradient. So how to repeat the gradient? Let's see. Here you have to give the repeating before the linear gradient. Repeating. Here is, we have to write repeating, and then here are the colors. So now let's execute it. Here we need to remove the direction. Here you can see that the color is repeating, but here we cannot see it clearly. And now here I'm gonna give the other colors, then you can see it clearly. Yellow, here is the yellow, and it is already red, and here I'm gonna give it blue. So now you can understand it clearly. Here you can see that the colors are repeating, and now I'm gonna give it the percentage 10%, and remove this, and here it have the 30%. So now let's see it how it look like. So in this way you can see the gradient is repeating by giving the percentages. So this is the way you can give the gradient. I hope you understand my lecture, and in my next lecture I am going to teach you the shadows. I will teach you how to give the different shadows to the text and some extra properties that is related to the div and the overflow and the other things, and then I will teach you how to include the font without installing it into your computer. It is basically how to include the web font. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Hi guys, in this lecture you will be learning how to apply the shadows and some extra properties and web fonts. So first of all, I will show you. Here I have already created a div, and now I'm going to apply a shadow on this div. So first of all, here you can see that there is no shadow on the border, and now we have to write box shadow because this is a div, it is a box. We have to write box shadow. We first of all we have to give the position of the shadow at the x-axis. So now here I'm going to give 5 pixel on the x-axis and the 10 pixel on the y-axis, or it is also 5 pixel, and then we have to give the blur radius of the shadow or the intensity of the shadow. Here I'm gonna write 5 pixel is the intensity of the shadow, and then its color is red. And now let's render it. So here you can see that it is at the x-axis and the y-axis, and here is the shadow. And now we can also give the two shadows to it. Write the comma, and then you have to write the x-axis distance for the second shadow and the y-axis distance, and then the intensity, and then the color. Here is the blue, and let's render it. And in this way the second shadow is here, and now we are also able to give the shadow to the text. Here I'm going to write a heading. Here is the heading is h1. Here write heading. Here is its closing tag, and now here I'm going to give it the shadow h1, and here first of all write the shadow. When we are giving the shadow to the text, so we don't need to write the box shadow, we have to just write the shadow. And first of all write the distance for the x-axis, then the distance for the y-axis, and then the intensity of the shadow, and then the color of the shadow. Here let's check it. Here is the heading, and now I am going to change it. Here we have to write the text shadow. The complete syntax is text shadow for the when we are giving the shadow to the text. So here the shadow is given to it. Now I'm going to reduce it to the 5 pixel and make it 5, and it is also 5, and then you will see it clearly. Here you can see that shadow behind the text. And now I'm going to give it the second shadow. Here is I'm going to give 0 pixel for the x-axis, 0 pixel for the y-axis, and then the 5 pixel for intensity, and here is the black shadow. and here is 3 pixel, and it also becomes a 3 pixel. It is also 0 and 0, and let's check it. So here you can see that, but here I'm going to give the color to the text is white. So now let's check it. So here you can see that it is looking awesome. So in this way you can give the shadow to the text and the div. And now I want to tell you some other properties, that is text overflow. So now here I'm going to remove this heading and also remove this heading, remove this. Here is the parenthesis, and here I'm going to paste a paragraph. Here copy this paragraph and now paste it here in between these divs. So now what we need to do here, let's check this div. So here is the text, but now I'm going to reduce its width and height to the 100 pixel. And now let's check it. So here you can see that the text is overflow. So now to avoid the overflow we have to give an y overflow hidden. Here is the overflow hidden. So now let's check it. So now overflow is hidden, and here I'm gonna give white space wrap, no wrap. Here is the no wrap. So now all the text in the single line. Here all the text is present here, and then I'm gonna give it the text overflow property, text overflow. So now the text overflow have here, I'm going to remove this and then show you what is the function of the white space no wrap. So here the text is shown in the single line, all the new lines are removed. So this is the text no wrap, and now here we want to hide this text, and here I'm gonna apply text overflow, and here I'm gonna apply two properties. But before this, here when we take the mouse over the div, here is the hover, then it shows the overflow visible. So now the text is visible to the screen when we take the mouse over the text, but here you can see that we cannot judge this, that some kind of text is present here. But if we give the text overflow ellipsis, I hope it's correct spelling. So now here the dots are created, so now you can understand there is a text and you can see it, and you can also apply another property, that is clip, so the text is become normal. Here you can see that it is normal. And the next thing is the long words. You can also break the long words that is in the text. Here I'm going to remove the no wrap and all these properties. Here let's check it, and now I'm going to remove all the extra text. Here is the text, and now I'm going to increase its width. So here is the text, and now here I'm going to make a word long. So now let's execute it, and here you can see that this word is so long that it overflows the div, and we can also provide a property for these words, word wrap. Here we can give break word, then the word is break, that is too long. Here the word is break. And now I'm going to teach you how to add a font without installing into your HTML file. Here the text is already given, and now I'm going to remove it. And here is the font file. This font name is Assassins the Killers. So now I am going apply this font, but I have not installed this form, and I'm gonna directly include this form in my HTML file. So before this, I want to tell you another thing, that many years ago, when the computers and the internet is not spread everywhere, so at that time when we open any website in the browser, so the font that is used by the website, if does not present in the user computer, then the default form that is present in the user computer is execute. But now the time is changed. The programmers include the font file in the website, so whenever we load any website and their font is not present in our computer, then that font is downloaded in our computer, and then that font is execute. So now here I'm going to teach you how to include a font here. First of all, we need to write add font face, and after this we have to write font family name. We have to give a temporary family name to this font. So now here I'm going to give it a family name like first, and then we have to include that font here, write the source, and here is the URL and parentheses, and here is a semicolon, and in between these words we have to write the file name and its extension. So this file name is Assassins, and its type is true type font. Let's see, it is .ttf, and now I'm going to copy its name. Here, copy this name and now paste it here, and .ttf, and the font and the HTML file is present in same folder, so that's why we have to write only its name and extension. And now I am going to apply this font family, that is first. So first is basically this font Assassins, and now I'm going to apply this family on this paragraph in the div. Here write the div, and here we have to write the font family. So now this font will be apply on this font family first. So now this font will be apply on this text. Here I'm going to remove this height and width, and let's execute it. So here remove this border, all this thing. So now first of all I'm going to remove it and then check how it look like. So here is the default font. Here this is a default font, and now I'm going to apply the first family. So now the font is become Assassins, so it's not change. Here is a little error, that is the equal, and now let's check it. So here you can see that the font is applicable on it, and then you can apply the font size and the font weight and other attributes. So I hope you understand my lecture. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion in the course. I will help you as much as I can. And now I'm going to teach you the transition in the next lecture. What is a transition? And the transition is an important property. So see you in the next lecture. Hi guys, in this lecture I'm going to teach you how to add the font directly into your file, or in other words, in the previous lecture I have teach you how to add the font by downloading the file and then place the file in the folders and then you can add that file. But now I'm going to teach you how to directly add the link of the font on the internet into your web page. So now here I'm going to select a font from the browser. Here you have to write Google Fonts, then you can use the Google Fonts API. My internet is little slow, so now here Google Fonts, and now here are the many fonts, like this is Open Sans and the Roboto and all these Lato and the Slabo and the Roboto. So what you need to do, if you want to pick any font, then click on the quick use, or you can pop out it or see all styles. If you want to see all styles, click on see all styles. So here you can see its styles. Here is bold, 60, 100, 600, italic. Here I'm gonna zoom in, and now here you can see the different styles of this font, and if you click this, then it will automatically into its previous shape. And if you want to use this style, what you need to do, you can click this quick use option, or you can search the font. Here I'm gonna search Cabin Sketch. It is awesome font. Click on, and here is the Cabin Sketch font, and to use this font you have to click on quick use. But here you can also select the categories: sans, sans serif, display, handwriting, and all the things. And here you can set the thickness of the font. Here you can vary it, then it will search, then slant and the width and the script, what is the script, and all these things. But here I'm gonna click on quick use, and then here is the screen. So now first of all, here are the things, here are the text. If you want to apply the bold 700 style, so the text will look like this. But if you want to apply the normal 400, then it will look like this. So these are the things. So here I'm gonna click on this style, so it will give the link at this site. Here you can copy this link. What is this link? Let's look at it, and here paste it here, because it is the link text. Here is the link tag, you already know this tag, and then here is the hyperreference, and it contain a link to the font, fonts.google API and family font cabin, and then relate to the style sheet and type is equal to text CSS. In this way now you can apply this font onto this text by writing the font family Cabin Sketch. Here I'm gonna give it some styles. Background is red and the color is white, hash FFF. So now let's look at it. So here is the text, and now I'm going to apply some padding on it, 20 pixel. I think it's okay, and here I'm going to zoom this screen. So now here you can see that it is not a good font, it is not awesome. So now I'm going to apply another font here, font family, and then include the Cabin Sketch font. Here is the Cabin Sketch, and let's look at it. Here you can see that the font is changed. So this is the Cabin Sketch form. In this way you can also add the fonts. And the next thing is that I want to tell you, you can also add the font by using the add import. this is the add import link, and you can also add it. Copy this link, and where to paste it? This link is pasted inside the style.css. Here is the style.css. It contains the add and import. Import is used to import or connect this link, and then here is the URL in the parentheses. So in this way, here you can also apply this font on the div. Here I'm going to remove this from here and then apply in this here font family. The add import, this link is used when we are using the external style sheet. Here we can give cabin sketch. And let's look at it. So it's applying on this text, and you can also search another fonts. Here I'm gonna remove this, so it will show the default fonts. You can also use this label here. Click on this label, so now it is showing their style. It has only one style, normal 400. It will look like this. So in this way you can use link of the font into your style sheet, into your HTML page. So I hope you understand my lecture. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion on Udemy. I will help you as much as I can. Thank you for watching this video. Hi guys, in this lecture you will be learning the transition. So first of all, what is the transition? It is a CSS3 property. It is just an effect. In transition we can see the effect of changing CSS values. The CSS properties values smoothly change in the transition. So here I am gonna apply the transition on this div. Here is a div, it have the background color border, and now I am going to apply a hover on this div. When we take the mouse on this div, its width is changed, and then we can see the effect of changing the width. And here, first of all, I'm gonna apply directly without transition. Here when we change the width, it's 400 and we are gonna make it 500. So now when we take the mouse over it, so it just happened quickly. We cannot see the effect. It is not attractive, awesome, but we are gonna make it awesome by using the transition. And now here in the div we have to apply the transition on the div. First of all, write the transition property. In this we have to write on which property we want to apply the transition. Here I want to apply the transition on the width. When the width is changed, we want to see the width. And the second thing is the time for the transition. How much time you want to see the transition. Here I'm gonna write 1 second, and then here we have to write transition duration, and then we have to write transition timing function. Here is the timing function. In this property we have to give the speed of the transition at the start, at the end. Here I'm gonna write linear, so now the speed of the transition is just same. And now let's load it, and here you can see that the width is increasing smoothly, and we can also apply the same transition on the background, but we have to write the background here. And if we want to apply the transition on other elements or on all the elements, then we have to write all. So now the transition is applied on all the elements, that is on all the CSS properties that is apply on the div, width, height, background. But now here I'm going to change its background color yellow. So now we can see it smoothly. Here you can see that its color is changing smoothly, the values are changing smoothly. This is the transition and its speed is linear. And here I want to tell you another thing. You can also here give the value ease in. So at the start the transition is slow. Here you can see that at the start the transition is slow and then it speeds increase, and if we give ease out, so the transition speed is slow when it is at the peak at the end. Here you can see that at the peak its speed is slow, and if we give ease in and ease out, then the transition speed is slow at the end and at the start, but at the center of the transition its speed is fast. And now here I'm gonna give it linear, and we can also give it another property, transition delay. Here is the transition delay, and we have to give the delay of the transition at the start. That here we if we give the 1 second for delay, then the transition is start after the 1 second. Here I'm going to give 1 second delay. So now when we take the mouse over the transition is start after the 1 second delay. Here you can see that it is start after 1 second delay. So you can also use the shorthand property. You can put all these properties in a single line. Here write the transition, then write the all to apply transition on all properties, and here write the duration. Here I'm going to write 0.3 seconds, then timing function is linear and delay is 2 seconds, but now here I'm not gonna write any delay. So now here the transition is fast because the duration is small, it is 0.3 seconds. And now I'm gonna give so now in my next lecture I'm gonna teach you 2D transforms. What is the 2D transform? So let's see in the next lecture. Thank you for watching this lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hi guys, in this lecture you will be learning the CSS3 2D transform. So what is the 2D transform? In the simple words, what is the transform is the property through which you can change the shape, size and position of an element. So that is called the transform, and 2D is called the two-dimensional. You can change the position, size and shape of any element in 2 dimensions. So here to see the effect of the transform we have to apply the transition, so you can see the effect of transform clearly. Without the transition you cannot see the effect of transform. So now here I'm gonna apply the hover over the div, and in between this we have to define the properties for the transform. First of all, write the transform, and then we have to write the functions. But before this, here I'm gonna write provide the transition on the transform. Here is all properties and here is the 1 second delay, and here is the linear timing function. And now here first function in the transform is translate. So what is the function of the translate? The translate function move an element from the current position to the given position according to the given parameter. So here we have to provide a parameter. First of all, we will move this div on the x-axis, so that's why here I have write the x. So here I'm gonna give 20 pixel in the x-axis. So now this div will move 20 pixel in the x-axis. Here we have to write hover, and now let's check it. So now here you can see that div is moved 20 pixel in the x-axis. So if we write y-axis, so now it is moving 20 pixel in the y-axis. And you can also give both values in the same function. What you need to do, just write translate and 20 pixel for the x and 20 pixel for the y-axis, and here is it's moving. And here I'm gonna write 0.3 second. So now it is fast, the transition is now is become fast. And the next function is rotate. You can also give the rotate. So what is the function of the rotate? In the rotate, you can move any element in the clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. What you need to do, you just need to give the angle. Here I'm gonna give 20 degree. So now it is moving 20 degree. Here it's moved 20 degree. And you can also give different angles, minus 180. So now it's moved minus 180. Here you can see that. So in this way you can apply many functions. Now I am going to give another function, that is the scale. So what is the scale? The scale is a function in which we can increase width or height of the div along the x-axis and the y-axis. Here if we write x, so now here if we give 2, so now its width is become 2 times increase in the x-axis, or so now its width is increased 2 times. And if we write y, so now its height is increased. Here you can see that its height is increased 2 times. And we can also apply both things in the same function by only writing the scale. And here first is width and the second is the height. And the other function is skew. What is the skew? When we give the skew, so we can move an element along the x-axis or y-axis according to the given angle. So here write skew, and here if we write x, then here is the 20 degrees. So now element is moved in the x-axis 20 degree. If we write y, so now it's moving 20 degree in the y direction. And we can also give both angles. Here I'm gonna give 40 degree for the x-axis, 20 degree for the y-axis. So now it is moving. This is called the skew. So now I am going to teach you the 3D transform. So first of all, what is the 3D transform? I have already teach you the 2D transform, but in the 3D transform you can change the directions in the 3-dimensionally. You can also say that you can change the position, size and shape in the z-axis. So first of all, let's start. Here I'm gonna remove this function and I'm gonna provide the rotate function. And in the rotate function you can also give the x-axis and you can give the degree. So now this div is gonna be rotate in the x-axis, but it is less. And you can also give the y. Here we have to write the uppercase X and Y and Z because the W3C recommended. The lowercase also works, but recommendation is important. And here I'm gonna provide more angle, 180 degree. So here you can see that it is rotating in the y-axis. And you can also give the Z. So now let's see what happened. So here it is moving in the z axis, that is also called the 3D axis. And you can also write all these 3 axes in the 3D function, rotate 3D function. And here what we need to do, first of all we need to write the value for the x-axis and then the value for the y-axis and then the value for the z-axis and then an angle of a movement. So now let's check it. So here you can see that it is rotating. 2, 3 and 5, it is just the position in the x-axis, y and z-axis. And now I'm going to show you the translate z property. We have learned the translate x axis and translate y, but we have not learned the translate in the z axis. Here is the translate z. We have to provide 50 pixel. So now the div is moved 50 pixel in the z axis. Here let's render it, but here you cannot see the effect clearly. We have to provide the perspective property. What is the perspective property? Perspective property is used to view the 3D elements and the 3D effects. Here right, perspective, and here in between this I'm gonna write 500 pixel. And now let's check it. So here you can see that this is translate the effect. And now I want to show you, you can also put all the x and y and z in the single property. Here write the translate 3D, and here for the x-axis 50 pixel, for the y-axis 10 pixel, and for the z-axis 20 pixel. And now let's check it. It is moving. And now I want to show you the scale property for the z-axis and the 3D axis. But for here I'm going to write scale z 3. It is the value for the z-axis, then the div is placed. But here we have to provide the perspective property. Here is the perspective 500 pixels. And now let's check it. It is not clear because we have to provide another property, that is rotate. Then it's show the effect clearly. Here is the y 45 degree. So now let's check it, its effect. Here we have not write the correct spelling. So now this is called the scale because it is changing the size of the div in the z-axis. We have provided the scale property for the z-axis. It increased the size in the z-axis 3 times. And now I'm gonna provide 3D. And here is the first value for the x-axis, second is for the y, then third is for the z. So now here it is, and in this way you can see that x-axis, y-axis and the z-axis size is increasing. And the next property is the rotate y. So the next property is back face visible. So here I want to show you why we are gonna apply the back face visible. Here is the rotate y. So whenever we apply the rotate y, so here the div is moving, but its back face is visible when it is moving. But if we want to hide its back face, we have to provide the back face visibility. Here we have to write hidden. So now let's check it, and here you can see that its back face is hidden when it is moving. So you can also apply the visible, so it's will be visible. So in this way you can use the 2D and 3D transform. And in my next lecture I'm going to teach you the animations. What is the animation? Let's see in the next lecture. Hi guys, in this lecture I'm going to teach you the animation. So first of all, what is the animation? In the animation you can specify different styles, background colors, or all these things, whatever you want to define. So then the animation allows to change these styles gradually. or in other words you can see the effect of changing the styles, the colors, or in other words you can apply the different colors on a div, and then one by one you can change these colors by using the animation. And here I have created this div, and here is its render form. So now here I'm gonna first of all I'm gonna create the animation, and then I'm gonna specify the style in that animation, and then I will use that animation here in this div. First of all we have to create the animation. First of all write the keyframes. Here we have to write keyframes, and then we have to write the name of the animation. Here I'm gonna write test. You can write any name, and then in these parentheses you have to write all the styles of the CSS that you want to include in that animation. Here first of all you have to specify the point from where you want to apply the style. When the animation is start you are able to apply a different style, and when the animation is end you are able to apply the different style, or in other words when the animation is at the 0 stage, so this style will be applied, and if the animation is at the final stage, so this animation is applied, and if the animation is 50%, so what style is applied. So now here first of all this is the starting point. We have to write from. So from is the point where the animation is start, and here I'm gonna write the background color. At the start the background color is changed to yellow, and then we have to write the final point. Here I'm gonna write 2 is the final. Here I'm gonna write background color. Here is the purple. So now when the animation is start, so it is start from this line from, so this background color is apply on that element, and then when the animation is end, so this background color will be applied. So now animation is ready, and now I'm gonna apply this animation here on the div. So first of all how to apply that animation? It is just like a transition, and we have to specify the name of the animation, duration, and the delay. So now here I'm gonna specify animation name. Here is the animation name. Here I'm gonna write test is the animation name, and then here we have to define the animation duration. For what minutes or the seconds the animation is going to be run. So here we have to define animation duration. Here I'm gonna write 2 seconds, and then we have to write the animation delay. Before the animation is start we have to specify the minutes or the second to stop the animation before it's starting, or it is just like a delay, or wait before the running. And here I'm gonna specify delay. Here I'm gonna add the delay of 1 second, and now the animation is ready, and now let's check it out. And here I'm gonna reload it. So now it is the delay of the 1 second, and here you see that here I'm gonna reload it, delay 1 second, and yellow color is the starting point and the purple color is the final point, and then again the red color is applied. So now here I want to tell you something. We are able to apply only 2 styles here only. First is in the from and the second is in the to, so that's wrong. We are able to apply the different styles at the different point when the animation is on the 0%, and then the animation is on the 20%, 15%, 30%. So here I'm gonna specify when the animation is 0%, it is not started, so this style will be applied. When the animation is 25%, so this style, the color, background color is this. And you can also apply any style, border, padding, width, height, position, all the CSS styles, and you can apply this animation on all the HTML elements. And here I'm gonna increase it, so when the animation is 50%, its color is become green. Here is, and when the animation is 75%, so its color is become blue. And here is the final color. I'm gonna apply parrot black. Here is 100%. When the animation is 100%, so this black color will be applied. And now let's render it. 1 second delay, and here you see that all the colors are applied. So this is the animation, and it is too fast. You can increase its duration, so it is now slowly execute. Here you see that. Another animation function. So here is animation play state. You can stop or play the animation. Here is play, and here we have to write state, and here is this. And if we apply paused, so now animation is stopped, it's not running. Here you see that it is still stop. 1 second delay is over. And if we apply running, so now it start to running. And the next function is the animation timing function. By applying the animation timing function, you can apply you can give the values linear, ease in, ease out, ease in, out. So these values are also present in the transition, and you have already know what's the function of the linear. It just run the animation smoothly. It have not any style. When we give the value ease in, so at the start the animation is slowly execute, and the rest of all the animation is fastly execute. And here we have to write timing, and here is the function. And first of all, here I'm gonna apply linear, and it is just a simple timing function. It is just linear, smoothly execute. Here I'm gonna reduce this 2 seconds. So now if we write ease in, so now at the start the animation is execute smoothly, slowly. Here it is. And if we write ease out, you can understand it. And here I'm gonna create some other styles in the animations. So here I'm gonna change the position. Here I'm gonna give it position relative to the div. So now let's change the color and the position of the div. And here I'm gonna give the left and the top position. Here at the start the left is 0 pixel, and here is the top is also 0 pixel. And now I'm gonna copy these things from here, and here it is. So now the left is 200 pixel, and here I'm gonna give top is also 200 pixel. Here is, and now here I'm gonna give the left is 0 pixel, and here is 200 pixel. And now here I'm gonna make it 0 pixel at the end. And now let's run it. Here it is. You can see that this animation is applied, and here you see that this is just a simple, but you can also change its direction by giving another function, that is animation direction. Here I'm gonna choose the animation direction, make it direction, and you can give the reverse. Here is the reverse, and you can also give the alternative. Here you can see that it is in the reverse direction. And if we give the alternative, and here is the alternative, here why it is not applying, because here we have to give alternate, and let's check it. So here this is the alternate and it's just like a reverse, but here is another value is alternate reverse. Here is the alternate reverse, and now here it is. This is the alternate reverse. So why it is not applying? Because we have to give the animation iteration count. We have to repeat the animation, so then this alternate reverse will be applied. Here we have to write animation iteration count. Here I'm gonna remove it and write animation iteration count. Here is the count, and here I'm going to write 3. So now it will be applied. So now animation is going to be repeat for the 3 times. Here you see that. This is the alternate reverse, and thank you for watching this video. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion in the course. I will help you as much as I can. See you in the next lecture. Hi guys, in this lecture you will be learning how to add the columns in the div. So now here I have already created a div, and here is the text, and here is its rendered form. And now I'm gonna increase this text and make the columns, or in other words block of this text. So now here let's increase this text, copy this and paste it here, paste it again. So now let's check it how it look like. So here is the text. So now I'm gonna make the columns of these texts. I'm gonna divide this text into the columns like in the newspaper. You are reading the newspaper and all the text is divided into the columns in the newspapers. So I'm gonna apply the same style on this paragraph. So here write the div selector, here is the parentheses, and here I'm gonna apply, first of all we need the WebKit prefix, because this property is not going to work without the WebKit. So first of all we need to write the column count. What is the function of the column count? Column count create the blocks of the paragraph. In other words, with the column count you can create 2, 3, 4 or 5 or as many as you want to create the block of the paragraph. Here I'm going to create 3 blocks of the paragraph. So now it divide the text into 3 blocks, and you can also write 4, then it divide into the 4, and here you can also adjust this gap between these paragraphs. So what here I'm going to copy this, and here you need to write column gap, and here I'm going to give the gap of 20 pixel. So now let's check it. Now it's increased, and you can also apply a border in between these columns. So now I'm gonna apply the border. Here copy this. Here we can call the rule. Here the rule is the border. So here is the style, column rule style, and here is the style is solid. I'm gonna apply the solid and then copy this. Here I'm gonna give the width of the border is 10 pixel, and here is the width, and then I'm gonna apply the color. Here is the color is black. Here is the color. So now let's check it how it look like. So here the border is applied onto these columns. So there are 3 columns, you can create as many as you want. And now this is a long way to create a column rule, a column border. Here I have a shorthand property. In a single line you can write all this code. So how to write it? First of all write the WebKit. here's the WebKit, and then you have to write the column and then rule. And like border property, you have to give first border width, then style, and then its color. Here it is, and now let's check it. So it is still on, so it's working. And now you can also give it the another thing, that is the column width. You can adjust the width of the column. So here I'm gonna apply the column width. Here remove this, and here is the column width. Here I'm gonna apply the 500 pixel. So now the number of columns are going to reduce. It's not working because we have provided the column rule. Here I'm gonna make it in the comment. Here is the comment, and now let's check it. So here I'm gonna increase this to 800 and then refresh it. So here it's completely changed. Give it 600. So here you can see that the column width is the 600 pixel. So this is the way we can give the column width. And now you can also give these properties in a shorthand property, that is the columns. Here is the columns, and first of all we are able to give the width. Here I'm going to give it 300 pixel, and then the count. Here I'm gonna give the count 2. So the two columns are created. Here it is created, and now I'm gonna make it in the comment here, then it will be work here. Now let's check it. So here we have to provide WebKit, then it work properly. So now let's check it. So here are the 300 pixel column and with the two counts. And the other thing that I want to tell you is we can also provide a heading. Then we are able to span that heading over columns. So first of all, here I'm gonna create a h1 heading. Here is the h1 heading. Here I'm gonna write heading, and now I'm gonna spread this heading over the columns. Here is the heading, but now I'm gonna make this heading to the part of these columns. Here it is looking like it is not a part of this column. So now here what we need to do, we just need to write the h1 selector, and here is we need to write WebKit, and then write the column, and here is span, and we can span the heading over the two columns and the one column. Here I'm gonna write one column, so now it will be span only on the one column. Here let's look at it, why it's not working. So why it is not working, here is the problem. Here we need to provide this heading inside the div. Here write this heading, and now let's check it out. So here you can see that this heading is span is spread over only one column, but if we want to span it, to spread it over all the columns, then we have to provide all. So now it will be spread over all the columns. So in this way you can apply the columns and the column width and borders and span the columns. And now I'm going to teach you how to handle the user interface, how to move the div, how to resize the div in the vertical and the horizontal direction and in the both directions at the same times. So let's start. Here I'm gonna remove this heading, and now here remove this, and here I'm gonna make it in the comment. Here is the comment, and now here I'm gonna provide the border to this div. Here is the 1 pixel solid black, and now let's check it. So here it is look like this, and apply the width. Here I'm gonna give it 300 pixel. It's not enough, 800 pixel. So now here is the div, but here you can see that it is not adjustable. We cannot move the div horizontally or vertically, but if you write the overflow auto, so then the overflow is automatically adjusted when we resize the div. And here we have to provide the property resize, and here if we write vertical, then we can move the div vertically, resize the div vertically. Here the attribute, here the symbol is created and you can move the div in the vertically. But here if we write horizontal, then you can move the div horizontally only. Here it is horizontally moving, and the content is automatically adjusted because we have provided the overflow auto property. And if we provide both, then the div is adjusted automatically in the vertically and in the horizontal direction. Here you can able to provide in the horizontal and the vertical direction. Here its height is reduced and here it is increased. So in this way you can resize the elements. You can apply this property on many other HTML elements. If you have any problems, kindly add the discussion in the course. I will help you as much as I can. Thank you for watching this video. If you have, see you in the next section where we are going to build the awesome websites. I'm going to teach you how to code each and everything in these 5 websites.